their question. You may have a lot of questions from them, and I'd like to know what is their interest in agricultural science, what field, especially if you take a special interest from them to share us about it.
I think there's a wide range of things that come up, and when I go over there, I don't identify myself only as an agronomist. I think about myself as an agriculturalist, and so many different questions come up, and from the perspective that they're coming from. Surprisingly, food safety is one, and I don't know for sure where that's coming from, the food safety, and they're getting more interested in nutritional quality of the food, more than just is it food, but it is good quality food. The environment is really more important than I originally thought, but the problem is doing something about it. There's an interest there in the environment. There is this very strong interest in sustainability and their own abilities to be sustainable and what they would need to do it. Those would be the broader issues that come up. Now, unfortunately, well, maybe not unfortunately, issues that I think are critical when you start looking at rural areas are education, healthcare, transportation. The transportation is a challenge. Education we've already gone through. I talked to them about how many students go, being a professor, how many students from this farm have gone to Pyongyang to the university? Maybe 3? So I've asked some people, and I said, well, the educational system isn't good enough for them to pass the exams to get entrance to the university. So it goes back in how what the aspiration, education is still one. And it goes back to that cultural thing that your country people feel about it. And the political side, the government takes care of that. That is, I'm sure. Maybe I'll.
John Martin, I just wanted to thank you for your presentation. I had a kind of an off-topic question, but you mentioned that you were in North Korea when they revalued the currency. Did you notice were people visibly upset? Was it just business as usual for them, or was it just something that someone told you and that was about it? What did you notice when you heard about the currency?
Did you know it happened?
Yes, I knew it happened, yes. Because they told me it was going to happen when we got there. They had about a tour day. You couldn't imagine the number of people out shopping. That was the big thing. We stayed in a modest hotel, but it had a store in it that accepted the currency. And there were people in there the first 2 or 3 days, there was hardly anyone. The last Thursday and Friday, I think it went started like Friday at midnight or something like that. It was just jam-packed. They had special hours. They left the store open so they could get in. Then we heard that the people were burning the old bills because they were valued, so not valued more. Unfortunately not. I didn't burn mine. Souvenirs or something too, if you could get one. But that was what. The other big thing was, okay, now they devalued, what's going to happen to prices? And I don't know enough about economics exactly what to expect out of that. Although I know on the farms, the question was, will our pig be worth more, that family pig, or the products that they made, or whatever they're growing at that particular time. But other than that, I think the prices was a big factor that people were talking about. What's going to happen to prices over the next few days? I don't know what happened either.
Those people who knew about the currency, those people who knew about this measure beforehand, were they high-ranking officials or just regular people in the farm?
Well, the people that told us about it were the minders. The minders had known about it, but somewhere the word got out. But they couldn't. I don't understand enough of it, but I know that the money that was in the bank, they was okay, but everything else had to be somewhere else. They had to take care of it somewhere. I really don't understand it all, but there were people were busy around the hotel, and I asked why there's such a rush. They said they're going to devalue the money. Now, whether they knew it or there was a rumor or what it was, I couldn't really tell you. But that was what the story was.
Yes, you can use it.
Thank you so much. My name is Lauren Smith, and I'm wondering if you've done any research, Army research along the demilitarized zone, and if so, how that differs from being in North Korea.
We haven't worked with any of the farms near the DMZ. I do know that South Korea is doing a lot of research in China, looking at various climates that are very similar to North Korea for the transferability. On the other hand, with the DMZ is, what I hear about it is that it should be preserved as some sort of a national peace park and be an ecological park of some sort that would be for future studies. I really haven't done very much around the DMZ. It's a very neat place in the world. It really gives some potential if we really want to use it that way.
I see a couple hands. We'll take just these two last questions, and Professor, and then in the back. So 2 repeat questioners.
Did you have any specified offer from them to deliver or given, like special equipment or special lecture or any kind of things you get? They want to get.
Yeah, that's quite common. And so when we were early on, that popped up a time or two. And it's in the vernacular, it's called cookies. So, and that was something that popped up. But more recently, I haven't heard that. They're just interested in relationships and developing those relationships without it really strings attached. More recently. Early on, yes.
And our final question. Yes.
I just wanted to ask a couple of questions for the future. Are you aware of much in the literature of top researchers in North Korea in agriculture? And would you support some sort of international collaboration in science and technology with them?
Going back to the question, both good questions I think, on the literature.
Yes.
The literature is, of course, published in Korean language, and we do have some papers, but I haven't seen them translated yet, so that I can really look at them. Because we're interested particularly on some things on rice production and so on. It's not very easy to get the information from the North Koreans on that particular thing, however. And so we only have a few. Our library was interested in some exchanges, but we so far it hasn't really worked in terms of exchange of literature. And the other, the literature in the second question one more time?
I'd like to work on collaboration in science.
Exactly, yeah. There are, that's sort of the long-range goal that we have. Now, whether or not we can make it with our university is hard to say. There is a consortium that's been formed to look at science-to-science exchanges and cooperation, and it's just getting started. But that would be one of the things we would like to do over the next, probably 3 to 5 years, somewhere like that, would be to actually have some collaboration. Now, it might be not specifically to one research project, but it may be scientist-to-scientist discussion and setting up an experiment here or there, as opposed to joint research and so on. To me, that would be the longer-range thing that we should be looking at. But we have to go one small step at a time. And I've learned to be very, very patient.
On the literature front, we might note, and what they're advertised, that Dr. Nelson, along with a colleague, is working on a manuscript, possibly. No, just kidding.
We're
But,
working on it.
We'll look for that in the future. Before I ask you to join me in thanking Dr. Nelson, I would like to thank all of you for joining us here today. I hope we can see you again in the future at one of our Human Security in North Korea forums here at KEI. On behalf of Mr. Charlotte Sue, myself, and KEI, Dr. Nelson, thank you so much for coming all this way and sharing with us your expertise.